they still don't want to settle that frickin' investigation because there were people who were involved in it that were higher up in the political party.
Well, again, you talk about the Greenfield thing,
The Grenfell. That's a
and
perfect example.
as we mentioned before, the the, the investigation is meant to conclude next year.
Yeah,
Right. And
and
Almost everybody.
so we are just speculating at this present moment.
Yeah,
but still, I mean, how many years ago did the Grenfell? That was at least three, 4
Again,
years
these
ago.
things take time. This isn't a episode of Inspector Morse where, or Murder She Wrote, where there's a weird clue over there, and immediately the case is solved.
Yeah, but dude, that was 5 years ago. That's a little bit. I mean, that's not a good
Well,
argument at
it's a
all, man.
complicated case. It's a complicated case.
No, it's not. You had a lot of people in power who were freaking manipulating the welfare system over there in England, and freaking now that there was a fire and people got hurt, they're covering their asses. Plain and simple. It was dirty
Again,
politicians.
again, I'm going to use the word alleged here.
But
That would
now
be for the case for the courts to decide upon
if
when it comes to court.
if you were saying that 1 maybe 2 years after the incident had happened, I would believe that, okay? But this is like 4 or 5 years afterward, and
Again,
there has
also,
been no
it's not only
hearing.
the case itself that takes time; it's the bureaucracy around the case.
Yeah, that's the sad part. That really is.
Granted,
That
agreed.
it's the bureaucracy which is not good. I mean, at all. People
Mm.
love to say that that shit's good, and it's not. So
Mm.
now we have just a little bit of time left. So what I want to do is I want to cover this last one, and it's from KFF Health News, and um, get through this. This has to do with some of the stuff concerning what's going on with Social Security, because a lot of people, like I said, are touting how great Trump is, and 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 they don't know what's really taking place. Now, when I'm talking about Social Security, you need to understand I'm not talking about people who are just disabled and stuff like that, or people who are on the welfare system. I'm talking about people who are elderly that worked all their lives,
So
freaking
we're
paid
talking
into,
about state provide or state governed pensions.
right, all of it. Okay,
Yeah.
this is the stuff that's going on when I read it. So under Trump, Social Security, under Trump, Social Security resumes what it once called clawback cruelty. Martin O'Malley, then the Social Security Administrator Commissioner, announced in March of 2024 the agency would no longer cut off people's monthly old age survivors and disability checks to recoup money they had allegedly been overpaid. A
So
pattern
what do you call? Sorry, before we continue, what do you call it?
they call it the clawback cruelty.
No, I mean old age
Okay,
survivors and
people's monthly old age survivors and disability checks. Every
survivors.
yeah. Now, old age. What?
So what? We're talking about pensions, or are we talking about survivors of a
Yeah.
massacre or something?
Well, they're saying that if you wait until 65 or your legal age
Oh,
to
pension.
retire, you'll get your full amount, your full thing, like 1,000 or 2,000, whatever you
Yes.
pay at the actual thing. It's what you be getting. But that,
Sorry, I just find the word survivors in this context weird
Well, survivors is
and a little
basically
bit terrifying.
no, basically what it is like when people who are retired ended up passing away, what they do is survivors, people who have survived, the survivors are like the family members who,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Those are the survivors. So you have monthly.
Okay, that means he gives a completely different light on the situation. Carry on.
Okay, so people's monthly old age survivors and disability checks to recoup money they had allegedly overpaid. Let me start that over. Martin O'Malley, then the Social Security Administrative Commissioner, announced in March of 2024 the agency would no longer cut off people's monthly old age survivors and disability checks to recoup money that had been allegedly overpaid, a pattern he called clawback cruelty. Instead, it would default to withdraw 10% of monthly benefits. The new policy allowed people who already live on little to pay their rent and keep food on the table. Last Friday, the Trump administration reversed that policy. Beginning March 27th, to recover new overpayments, the Social Security Administration will automatically withhold 100% of recipients' monthly benefit, the agency announced. The agency said it was acting in the interest of fiscal responsibility and that the reversal would save the government about $7 billion over a decade. It is our duty to revise the overpayment repayment policy back to full withholdings as it was during the Obama administration and first Trump administration, properly safeguard taxpayer funds. Acting Commissioner Lee Dudick said in a news release. Advocates for Social Security
Sorry,
benefit.
I'm going to have to laugh here.
Wow.
Let's go for this. First of all, it's government funds, and then it's taxpayers' funds.
No.
Which one is it?
See, Social Security is what workers pay into their entire life. So when they retire, that money is supposed to be given back to them. This has nothing to do with you being taxed or anything. This is actually something that was set up for you in retirement. Okay, so
Sort of a trust fund.
yeah, yeah. And that's basically what pensions are, to be honest.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with taxes. These aren't things that freaking that we should be grateful for that the government is giving us. This is something that the government owes us. See what I mean? This is what we paid into. That's what
I'm interested. I'm going back to the survivors point. How are you eligible to be a survivor? What's the eligibility criteria?
Now, survivors are basically people who have been, from what I understand of it, they are people who had to take care of the elderly whenever they became old. They give them money to be there and take care of them. Now, I never did that with my parents or anything like that. And then people who are on disability who have to live within the family too. That was another issue that I remember hearing about where they got they got less money. They got less money, and then their family members.
In theory, as soon as the person passes, dies, those people that are taking care of that person haven't got any extra expenses because of the death. Therefore, why would they receive the money? On what basis would they receive extra money?
Well, that's what when it comes to the extra money. Probably mute that out.
It is.
I keep hearing you're like, I don't know what the hell's going on there. Just mute it when you're not talking. That is getting really annoying. I've fixed that.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, carry on.
Now, what that basically comes to is the fact that, like, if people who are survivors, okay, who are on disability or if they're on Social Security or something like that, they are supposed to freaking be getting money from extra money afterward, because when, like, a person who's disabled, who's not able to freaking work and stuff like that, they get disability, okay?
Yeah.
But because they live with family members, they don't get paid as much, okay? Now, if the family is like poor, they can't freaking afford to take on somebody with a disability for their life, they can go and live with them. So
Yeah, I recognise that point. I understand that point. But from what you were saying, that even after the disabled person passes away,
no, after
the
the elderly,
family members are still survivors and still receive a
if they
thing.
are on Social Security too, yeah, that would
But
be.
if the person has died and therefore the expenditure is no longer there.
What about couples? I mean, you know what I'm saying? You got a husband and wives that are living together. One of them passes away. So you're saying that other elderly person who's in that marriage freaking has to be just thrown to the curb because their freaking old man died?
No, I'm saying that the expenditure is no longer exists, and therefore,
So the government just gets to keep the rest of what that person
the
freaking
government
put
doesn't
into
keep
the.
anything.
Sure they do. Sure they
The
do.
government facilitates that money
Yeah,
on
and they keep it.
public spending.
So when that person dies, freaking whatever's left, the government just can keep, right? That's what you're saying. Like,
Okay, I get it. I get to know.
see, this isn't freaking like something that the government deserves, and they're just so gracious. They give everybody freaking their fair
Yeah,
share.
precisely. That's why I hate the term government's money, because it's not government's money in the
Right?
first place.
It's not government money.
They're
But
only there to facilitate the spending of
no,
taxpayers' money.
Yeah, but what I found
to give
out,
it back. You know what I mean?
yeah, but what I found out on the news as well is that, okay, the amount of people that work, so okay, that pays in for into taxes and all that goes through the IRS, and IRS keeps an account of how much taxes they get, how much comes in, and out of all that, that tells them how many people that pays in the amount. Okay, then they go by for the ones that does not work, that's on SSI and Social Security. All right. And if the more people, and here's the thing, the more people that it's on SSI, if there's more SSI than what taxes coming out, then they are saying that that's less because they don't have no account for Social Security or SSI. It's just that however amount of people that's working, they directly take it right out of IRS account to pay for this SSI and Social Security. It got no account at all.
Then, yeah, granted.
And but then when you got a group of, when you got more people that's on it, like we've been having with all the programs and all that, okay, it takes even less, okay. And they're sitting there saying about the money situation for how it's going to run out. Well, if I don't agree with like Roger's saying,